The reading for December 27th is Luke chapter 2. This is verses 22 through 38. So Luke chapter 2, verses 22 through 28. This is the presentation of Jesus in the temple. That is in line with the purification rituals and the offering of the firstborn back to God when you would first have a firstborn child. And when the time came for their purification according to the law of Moses, they brought him up to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. As it is written in the law of the Lord, every male who first opens the womb shall be called holy to the Lord, and offer a sacrifice according to what is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or two young pigeons. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon, and this man was religious and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. And it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he had seen the Lord's Christ. And he came in the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him according to the custom of the law, he took him in his arms and blessed God and said, Lord, now you are letting your servant depart in peace, according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, that you have prepared in the presence of all peoples, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and for glory to your people Israel. And his father and his mother marveled at what he said about him. And Simeon blessed them, and said to Mary his mother, Behold, this child is appointed for the fall and the rising of many in Israel, and for a sign that is opposed, and a sword will pierce through their own soul too, also that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. And there was a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel, and of the tribe of Asher, and she was advanced in years, having lived with her husband 7 years from when she was a virgin, and then as a widow until she was 84. She did not depart from the temple, worshiping with fasting and prayer night and day. And coming up at that very hour, she began to give thanks to God and to speak of him to all who were waiting for the redemption of Jerusalem. When Joseph and Mary take Jesus, in a sense, for a dedication of the child in the temple, there's these interesting incidents that happen. Already, we've been told that Mary was treasuring these things that were happening in her heart, whether it was the shepherds, eventually the Magi. But now there's, and the Magi would be a little later, actually, but now there's this guy named Simeon, and he's a fascinating character to me. He's somebody that, at first, if you imagine yourself in that situation, this is a guy that you may suspect of being a crazy person, right? They come and take your child and say, I've had a vision about this person. But it's interesting if you follow the works of Rembrandt. One of his last paintings that he did that was found in his effects, he had a few pictures of his copy of the prodigal son that most people have seen, but he also had one of Simeon that was raising up the Christ child. And you could just see, really, in the painting, it was unfinished. You couldn't actually see what he held in his hands, but you could see his face. And there was a sense of relief and arriving at the finish. And this was one of the last things that Rembrandt painted. And that's what I think is in view here. There was a sense of, finally, I've seen the things that are promised. And there's so much waiting that's involved. And Anna was in the same situation, now 84, and she's able to see this thing happen. And there's all these glimpses and hints that, in fact, maybe there's some people that know a little bit more about what is going on, that it's been revealed to them, that it's been a consolation to them. You won't see the end of the story, but you get to see the beginning. How often we get to see the beginning of something, but not the end. How often if we plant a seed for something, or we start a ministry, or we do something like that, we don't see the end of it, but we do get to see the beginning, and that's something to be celebrated as well. So that is the reading then for December 27th, Luke chapter 2, verses 22 through 38.